and welcome to the first episode of It's Beer O'Clock with Bierski and special guest Mr. Walrus. How you doing today, Mr. Walrus?
Very good.
Very
Very peaceful Saturday for me.
peaceful Saturdays are good. Happy to hear it. How's everything going otherwise?
Good, man. Just enjoying life. How about yourself?
I'm enjoying life too. Had a party today, hanging out with some friends. An engagement party with some people we went to a festival with earlier this summer. It was a good time. Other than that, we set up for the party and stuff. But other than that, just trying to stay warm, sucking down a beer here or there, just trying to do my thing.
So you're hosting? You hosted the party?
No, we didn't host the party. We went to the party. It was in like a town close to ours. We went to like a firehouse for the main party at like their banquet hall, and then from the banquet hall we went to the one friend's house for a little after party. I came home a little bit earlier to get ready for this tonight, but yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, thank you for having me. I was excited when you reached out weeks ago.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you accepted. This is awesome. I'm very excited to have you here with me for the inaugural episode. It's Pinkies Out, everyone. That's the subtitle for this one. So if you have a brew or anything, Pinkies Out. What's going on, Chef? How you doing? I'll pull you up on the screen. Game on, buddy.
Man, now you got like you're pulling up comments.
Yeah, you like this? It's Beer O'Clock, man.
Dude.
Listen, we no stone unturned for this. What's up, Brad G? How you doing, buddy?
Jesus, that's fancy technology. I didn't realize
But that's it, bud.
it took people years, other YouTubers years to do that. You
Gotta make it look good. Here we go. Pinkies Out. I love it, Chef. So, yeah, really just trying to get this talk started off. I don't know what other things there are to talk about that's bigger than the Van Gogh promo thing that's going on right now. I know it's been beaten to death. I know that everyone and their mother is talking about it, but I just want to touch on it real quick so we can just move past it. I definitely find it interesting that the museum, the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, is canceling handing out the cards for safety reasons. I just want to get your take on that, Walrus. Do you think that those cards are the reason there's being a Pokemon Center restock, or you think that's just an ancillary thing that happened?
It was going to happen anyway. Like, that's anyway. Pokemon Centers. They're clearing out for their holiday inventory. They've done it with the Bidoof, the special delivery Pikachu, and then last year with the Charizard. Dude, like I'm buying plushies. I have so many plushies in my corner because like whenever I order for like the special delivery Charizard to hit that minimum, I'm buying things that I wouldn't normally buy. Like I'm not buying booster packs to resell or open. I'm buying fun shit, bro. Like these are dope. Like Dan was right, man. Like look at this little Magmar.
Oh, the Sitting Beauties? Yeah, dude. They're so cool. And they're like what, $24, $25. So you get that and something else, and you'll get the promo now. It's a $30 buy-in for Pokemon Center, right?
So it's just an easy way to clear out inventory, man. Like,
yeah,
no doubt in my mind was that ever just going to be an exclusive to the Van Gogh merch.
All right, right on. I like that. I like that thought on that.
Did you get any, by the way?
I thought I was gonna get two. I had two of the puzzles ordered. I never got a confirmation email, but it was showing up in the Pokemon Center. And unfortunately, when they were sending everything out, I got the that your order has been canceled deal. So I got an email saying your order has been canceled, it could not be fulfilled. There was an error on our end. So they just canceled it completely. So I didn't get anything. Yeah, real bummer for me. Like I thought it was going to happen, but it didn't. So you just move on.
I got 10 total. Some of my products were canceled, but I still got like the extra promos.
Yeah, that's awesome. For whatever reason, I could only get those two in to go to the cart, and I couldn't get much further than that. I thought I was there. I thought I got it, and it just did not happen for me. So, that happens. What can you do? But move on to the next one. Probably pick some up at the $30 price point if they're available. And it's, Pokemon Center's not being weird and kicking you out, not letting you add stuff to the cart. I'll probably try and do that. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. These are things that, out of your control, really, sometimes.
What's your strategy when you order? Are you ordering products to give away, shit you want, packs? Like, what do you order to get that $30?
So I probably would buy some packs to rip. if I'm being honest. That's what I did with the special delivery Charizards, just a lot of packs to rip. There are a couple mats that I want to pick up. There are some cool like Halloween shirts and stuff that I'd like to get in on, but I'd probably just pick up like 3 booster packs and stuff and doing all that. You got my man Pokemon cards. I don't even drink beer, but I'm drinking one for this. Right on, man. Thank you. We got Brad G in the chat again. Walrus, are you doing Houston?
It's not looking like it. Originally, like my plan was to just go and hang out, but vending just makes it just that break even or in walking away with a lot of cash just makes too much sense to go and just hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah. Halloween clothes are kind of sick, Chef. That's for sure. I definitely do like them. It's a cool little line they have every year, and they do release some cool oh man, some cool play mats and stuff along with that, like the graveyard this year. That's a pretty cool mat. Definitely want to pick one of those up. Yeah, the Gengar stuff too.
I've been looking at the socks. I need socks, and I'm like,
yeah, socks. Yeah, hey, dude, man, who doesn't need socks this time of year? So, I also wanted to talk about the CGC return times for bulk. They just recently went up to 60 days, not that long ago. If you look on their website, I think they're up to 60 days turnaround time for bulk. What are your thoughts on that, Walrus?
Is anybody actually getting it back in 60 days, though? I feel like the Discord is saying, like, because mine was like 4 weeks, and I have people saying 3 weeks too in there.
Okay.
But my issue now is everybody's getting their PSA orders back, and it seems like in 30 days, less than 45 days for sure.
Yeah. So it's definitely easy. Yeah.
So now it's just a question of sending lower quality and less expensive stuff to CGC because of the price point.
Yeah, well, and that's I think was their big play, was having that, quick turnaround time. The lower price point is nice, but the turnaround time was really what was helping them. And they're definitely losing it because of the lower price point, I think. I mean, who doesn't want to send cards in at $9.60 or $8.99 if you have a deal? Like, it makes sense on so many cards. I think people get blinded by the PSA like premium, but when you look at it,
and I think the confusion there too is people think you're sending PSA 10 alt arts or something to CGC.
Yeah,
you're sending those PSA 8s or 9s, hoping they come back 10s.
10s, yeah.
Like you're just going for a bigger number. I'm not sending alt arts that I think are 10s to CGC just for turnaround times.
Yeah.
I think that's where the confusion is. Like people just need to make up their mind of what you want to do. And if I can have it slabbed for $9 or whatever it is in 30 days, and I can sell it with no question on what condition is, I'm going to do that versus selling a raw card every day of the week, honestly.
Yeah. Definitely makes sense, Walrus, for sure.
You had a lot of CGC pristines in Charlotte.
Yeah, I had a ton of them. I really like the way that label looks. I think it's, I think it definitely draws the eye. I do see some price comparisons on eBay with some of the product being, but the CGC 10, Gem Mint 10 definitely holds not the premium that PSA 10 holds for sure. There's definitely some cards that are way lower when it's just Gem Mint 10, which is interesting. I mean, it's not super interesting. It makes sense too, but we got Catch 'em All Collectibles in chat. What's up, bud?
Daniel's in here, but I think for us it makes sense though, because that Gem Mint is closer to a PSA 9 than anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's definitely what it feels like now, especially since I haven't seen many 9.5s coming from anywhere. So I feel like the 9.5 is kind of dead, and the 10 obviously is the new 9.5, but I guess that's where it's going. I haven't seen many CGC 9s coming out recently, or 9.5s.
But I will say, like, I sent like 80 cards this week, I think, to CGC as the total, and I had one return, and those pristines feel like a win.
Yeah, like, they definitely feel like a win.
Like, I was getting pristine, and I'm like smiling, dude. Like, I don't do that with PSA 10s. Like, I got a PSA 10, it's expected. When I was getting those pristines, like, they look sharp, they're nice, it feels like a win.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a win. Do like seeing them, it's nice. Just wish the turnaround time was quicker again. I feel like the turnaround time is definitely going to hinder CGC a little bit, especially if PSA is jumping or dropping stuff in 30 days compared to what, CGC is doing right now.
And that's the thing too. Like I have 2 PSA orders that have been there since June. So all
Bulk?
these people that are sending into August and September and they already got them back or they're in grading, it's just like how?
Yeah, well, first in, fuck off, right? That's what it is essentially. I mean, Dan says
And
it
it's
all the
crazy.
time, but it's true. Like it's insane. I was watching a podcast the other day. The guy said he still had cards from 2020 at PSA. Like, how are those cards not done yet? Like, how are things not back yet? It just makes no sense. I guess it was through a middleman. It's just wild. It's wild that you have so much capital tied up for so long. You just watch like prices dip for 2 years. They do it. It's insane.
So you're not, have you ever sent anything to Beckett?
I've never sent anything to Beckett. I do have a Beckett account. I have some cards that I would like to send to Beckett. But I also feel like that's just another dart throw. Like, you don't know.
That, yeah, but like once you start sending to Beckett, like that will enrage you because they charge you immediately, and then 6 months later you get your cards.
And you get a gold 10, not a black label 10. Like it's
on centering on cards that aren't even like you can't even tell what centering should be.
Yeah,
So.
that's how that's how I feel. So I've kind of stayed away from the Beckett plays, but it's something I want to look into a little bit more in the future for sure. For sure. Definitely interested in grading some video games too. I see you got quite a few back there behind you. I know you've talked on other lives about video games. I'm just interested in seeing what your thoughts are on the whole video game grading process, and if that is an emerging market that's going to be coming up, or if it's pretty steady. Like, I don't know much about the video game market, and I don't know if people watching know much about the video game market. So if you can enlighten us a little bit about it, how you feel.
Well, with video games, like if you've never submitted to WADA, it's probably the best submission process you could ever ask for. I'm looking over here because like I have like my shelf and I have like a ton of video games.
Is that Final Fantasy X2? Sure is.
Yeah. So like Jack, I have like a lot of just crap, I guess, that I was buying for no reason. And then I have like a lot of raw games too that I got to send to grading.
Okay.
The market's definitely come down on a lot of games. So it's definitely a time where if you're looking to pick something up, like it's cheaper now than it's ever been to acquire games. Obviously,
Okay.
with like your big titles, they're always going to be in demand, and you're always going to sell them if you get them cheap enough.
Right on.
I wish I could tell you like, oh, I know how they grade precision. Like it's same thing with like Beckett Black labels. Like you're gonna get grades all over the place. Just send the best looking things you can, because like
Okay.
I've gotten A+ on things that I don't know how they got that grade. And then other things that were pristine where it's just a simple A. And it's like, how did you determine which was
So
what?
it's just more dart throws, huh? This just seems to be the deal with the grading companies these days.
Unfortunately, yeah. I have a lot. Damn. I mean, I even got, like, I had to buy a CGC slab just to see, like, the difference. So I bought, like, Final Fantasy to CGC just to see what that market was, too.
Yeah. And what do you feel is better, WADA or CGC? Like, what do you
I
feel is
like
going
the
to hold?
WADA cases a lot better. Like,
Okay.
the CGC feels, like, super flimsy and, like, very, like, cheap, I guess you could almost say.
Oh, really? See, that's
Yeah.
odd because I definitely like the CGC case more than I like the PSA case when it comes to grading cards.
It's a
Like, I
lot more
feel
clear for sure, but like I don't know, it just feels cheaper compared to the other. I don't have anything with the new WADA case, and I've been meaning to send out an order, so I'll let you know
okay.
when I do that.
All
But
right, right on. Yeah, that's great. So growing up, playing video games, I see you got quite a few behind you. What was your favorite video game growing up? Why? And if you could still play it, would you? Like,
I try. Like I think my favorite probably is still like Yellow to some extent.
okay,
It was like that first game that's just my game, nothing else. It only
right
has
on.
one save file, and it's my journey, whatever you want to call it, right? Like every other
Yeah,
game for like the 64, PlayStation, like you had different save files. My brothers were on it. If they were playing, that means I couldn't play, but that was like my favorite one. I did try playing it recently, like on an emulator, and it is awful.
yeah.
It doesn't hold up at all. Like the
No,
simplest
they're
of things are
very
like this
dated.
is
The nostalgia's there. Like, I definitely wanted them to come out for red, blue, and yellow to come out on the Switch. But I remember playing I think on the 3DS. They had
the ports for them on there, and they were bad. Like it's a hard game. Like and I love, like, they're very simple. Like those first couple of games, like they weren't very in depth. There wasn't a lot going on. You weren't breeding Pokemon and stuff like that. But it's so simple. it's just so much.
Did you play the Let's Go or no?
I played Let's Go a little bit. My daughter and I played some. I know obviously there's no battling in it. It's more or less just trying to. I feel like it's one big shiny hunt, is what you're doing. Like that's what I feel like Let's Go Pikachu was, like one big huge shiny hunt. I mean, it's cool running through that area again. It's cool running through it in full 3D. Like when I was a kid, that was the one thing I wanted the most, was to be able to play Pokemon on the big TV and like have it like a world like that. Now you can definitely do it. Like it's cool that you can do that now. The Switch allowing it to port to TV, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, Let's Go Pikachu is cool. I just started playing Scarlet and Violet with my daughter as well. Actually, last night we started. I got her Violet, and I restarted my Scarlet save, so we're going through that together. So it's interesting.
Yeah, now that I have more free time, I definitely want to play like that in the Arceus game that came out.
Yeah. Oh,
I bought like Pokemon. Yeah. I bought Pokemon Snap because like that's one of my favorite games too growing up. But
Pokemon
it's just,
Snap was like gold.
It doesn't hit the same. So
nothing
I don't even
better
know
than
how far
throwing
I am,
apples.
but I stopped playing that.
What was that, Walrus?
I just stopped playing it. Like I don't even know.
What, Snap?
The new one.
Oh, the new one. So I didn't get into the new one. That's one of those things, like I didn't want, like Pokemon Snap. That was like the first game that came. I think that came out before Stadium, correct? I'm pretty sure it did. Like that was the first game. That was the first game on the N64 for Pokemon that was like full 3D on the N64. And I remember buying it. My mother, like, not understanding the concept. She's like, "Why are you getting this game again?" And it was like Pokemon Snap. I was like, because it's Pokemon on the TV. And then it was literally just going around taking pictures of Pokemon, throwing apples at them to get them to do silly poses and stuff. So like it was super
Man,
cool.
you were buying games. Like, I don't know, like we would rent them from, like, we had a Blockbuster competition called Hollywood Video.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know Hollywood Videos.
And then Blockbuster, we would always get the newspaper, like the flyers, because they always had coupons. Okay. So like there was always like, three night rentals for like $1 or something if you rent a movie. So like all those games like Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, like I rented them so much until I could finally afford it. So the fact that you just went out and bought it, bro, like you were rich.
Not rich.
Well, we were well off. We did well. Pokemon Snap, there it is, man. Dude, what a game that was. That was such a good one. I really did enjoy that. Yeah, I was lucky in that I did get a lot of games from my parents. That was something they were pretty solid with, was hooking me up with the video games. I remember I bought my first N64 from my cousin for $50. He didn't want it anymore. So I got an N64 and like 10 games. So I threw most of my, dude, it was wild. It was a score. Like he wanted $50 and my father was like, "I'll give you $50. So there you go. Got an N64, took it home. Yeah. And that was really like my big journey in the video games, like starting around that. I was like that age when I got my Kiwi, Game Boy Color and stuff. So, but then I graduated later on. Like I would say like Halo 2, which I see you have behind you, was probably, that was my like junior and senior year of high school. That's what I did when I came home after like football practice. I would play that for hours. I would be up till midnight, come home and be home at 8 and just play that till couldn't play anymore. Yeah. And then a lot of Halo 3 in college. So stuff like that.
Did you have like a Xbox and PlayStation or just Xbox?
So I had one or the other. I never had both at the same time. I was more of an Xbox kid. I did play, I did have a PS2 for a long time. So I played, like Final Fantasy X on that. All the God of War stuff, Grand Theft Auto, all that stuff like that. But then I traded that in and got an Xbox, and that's really what I wanted. I wanted an Xbox, got an Xbox, and that was mostly once Xbox Live came out, it was gangbusters for me. Like that was the coolest thing ever, being able to play against your friends. Because I was playing on, Xbox Connect. When you had the original Xbox, you could play online. You just had to go on a website and it was a whole big convoluted thing where you could play multiplayer matches against people with like horrible lag, but you still doing it. And it was still so cool. Like what you had to do back in the day to like play.
Like by the time Halo came out, my brothers were already working.
Okay.
So we could afford good internet because they were paying for it. Because like my mom, no way in hell she was ever going to get good internet. No way she was going to pay, because Xbox was like $60 a month back then still. Like you still had, not a month, a year. You still had to pay online.
Oh yeah.
So like that allowed me to play Halo. And then like once you got online and played those shooters, you didn't need new games anymore. Like
no. I think the first one I played on Xbox Live was Return to Castle Wolfenstein. And
that's old.
Dude, that was wild. What a wild game for the Xbox. Like just the Normandy beach map was insane. Like you were coming out of the water and you had the gunner's nest. Like that was the first game we played. And I say we played. My best friend got an Xbox before me for Christmas the first year it came out. And it was like that and Halo. And then NFL games for a while, where you kind of like playing on the same thing or picking you had to like close your eyes, or your partner picked his plays because everyone cheated. You just see what they were going to run.
Yeah, with Halo 2, like I remember going, like my mom's like, "Oh, what do you want for your birthday?" I was like, "I want the new maps." I don't know if you remember, but they released new maps.
The map packs. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had to get the CDs, or you can just do the online thing if your internet was bad. But you got like packs.
My mom got mad at me because I did it without telling her. You're just getting
really?
charged. Oh yeah, she had her. I like clicked it, and I was like, and she came to me the one time, and she's like, "Listen, man, you can't be doing that." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Ma."
No, I never had, like, I've never done anything like that where I like charge my parents' credit card or anything.
Yeah, what a
like,
jerk.
They would beat me.
It wasn't good.
Me,
it wasn't a good conversation, believe me.
I mean, if they would hit me if I misplaced a spoon, I can't imagine the beating I would get if I just charged that to their credit card.
Yeah, there were I think it was like a $5 pack too. Like the map packs were cheap then. $5, you got 3 new maps.
They were like 20 when they first
were they? Oh, see, look, you forget.
And then like obviously as time went by, people already had them, so prices started to drop significantly. Did you ever do because like I didn't have like a ton of money growing up, but did you ever go to like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster?
Oh yeah.
They used to give you the 7-day Xbox Live trial codes. So you just go through the game, open it, take a code, and then take it home.
Oh yeah.
And you can just play for free for however long. Like that was the play.
Yeah. Had a Blockbuster by me, had like a local video store too. But like I went to those more when I had like when I was younger. We had a NES and then a Sega Genesis. I think it was a Sega Genesis our one friend like gave us. So like I used to go do the pick up the games for the Sega Genesis and the N64, not the N64, and the NES from Blockbuster when they were doing those still, because you could rent the whole systems too. I remember seeing like the whole systems. Like my buddy,
they came in a suitcase in the back, like a briefcase.
Yeah, my dad's friend rented a Sega CD or a Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn is another.
Yeah, they were playing Resident Evil on it. It was wild. Like, Resident Evil, like that was a whole other thing. Like watching that as a kid, like blew my mind. Zombie hordes coming through, tearing people apart. Like my father looked at me and goes, "Dude, are you okay?" I was like, "No." Oh man. Well, let me go through chat a little bit here. Let's say hi to some people.
Apparently, Dan wants to be a mod and ban everybody.
I don't even know how to do that. Look, Dan wants the wrench. Oh, add as a moderator. Here we go. There you go.
Dan, you are now my first wrench. Ban away, man. Ban away. Let's see. Brad G cards. If you got cards at PSA from 2020, them shits are lost and not coming back. It's about to be 2024. People, wake up. Oh, dude, that's no joke. That's 100% right. That's how I feel about it. 4 years to get your cards back. Those shits are lost for sure. Oh man. Let's see. Chef, I wonder how it would work cartridge versus disc. I can't remember what we were saying there. Super Mario 3, Super Mario World, Pokemon Blue, King. Oh, his favorite games. Right on.
I think the best Super
World
Mario
was good.
Super Mario World was good. I really, really liked Super Mario 64. I thought that was so cool too. Like the 64 really upped the game for me when that came out. Like that was just such a cool. Like, and again, it was seeing all your favorite characters from, your handhelds and your 8-bit side scrollers turned into 3D. It was just like so cool for me at that time.
That game is. I mean, it's missing Yoshi.
Yeah, it is missing. Yeah,
like the
but
cool
it's got
thing about that
everyone
game
else.
too. Like I don't know if you did that too, but like especially for like Mario World, like there's a lot of the hidden stars, and you just saw the empty star. You had to go look for it. So you would go online and see how. But back then we didn't have videos. It was all just text instructions.
I remember it was cheatcc.com was the one I used as a kid. And you would print out like a Bible worth of cheat codes and like guide walkthroughs and stuff. All the ink in the jet printer and stuff. It was cool. It's amazing that you can just go on and have all that at a touch now. Like the things you had to do to like get ahead back then.
Yeah, like YouTube will show you back then. You just like you were reading it, and then you were like, I must have read something wrong because it's not translating, and then you would just obsess over it.
Yeah.
Same thing with like the Grand Theft Auto codes. I had those memorized back in the day.
Oh, for the GTA codes?
Like unlimited guns, or like because they came in like the gun packs. So you like 1, 2, and 3. You memorized it to like fly to get the tank.
Oh, dude, Grand Theft Auto 3 was so cool. That was such a good game. Yeah, the God mode you had, all the guns, full. I like doing full stars. You just have the helicopters and everyone coming after you, and just try and last as long as you can in the tank. Like that was cool stuff.
So for Grand Theft Auto 3, I got the PlayStation 3 and Grand Theft Auto for Christmas.
Okay.
But I didn't get a memory card.
Oh.
So I played the first missions countless times over and over again.
Over and over again.
And then I got so good at it, like I was in the third city by maybe an hour or 2 hours of playtime because I was just like cruising through because I had to repeat them so much.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, like I got so close to like finishing the game, I paused it and I'm like, I'll be back later. My mom unplugged it, turned it off. She was so mad because I just left. Because I don't know why, like parents were like, "Oh, you're wasting electricity by leaving this on."
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was just they just didn't. Yeah, not that much of a problem. Not drawing that much power either. Just old school thought processes.
I love Grand Theft Auto 3 for that reason.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto 3 has some banger tracks in it too, and like the satire, like radio host stuff. Some of the funniest shit of all time, and like some of the funniest stuff. Let's see. We didn't beat Snap, but I played that with my son. We unlocked all the levels, I think. Right on. That's cool. Now, was the new Snap just a rehash of the old Snap, or
no? It's completely new.
It's just new island and everything. It's not even
new island, new levels, like new ways to interact too. Like Pokemon, like hidden shit. Like it's tricky. And then I think they do during the day and nighttime. So if you go in during the day and nighttime, it's different Pokemon, or they're sleeping and it's just a different.
Awesome. Right on. That's something I'll have to take a look at. Let's see. Ponga. Oh, too much cuteness on the screen. Thank you, Ponga. I appreciate it. It was great meeting you in Charlotte. Actually, really great meeting in Charlotte. Just like everyone. It's great meeting Walrus and Charlotte. Just everyone was cool down there. Couldn't say enough about everyone. Let's see. Thanks for the shout out, Mertz. You do you, bud. I know you got a lot of stuff going on soon. Hope to see you in the next one. Oh man, Blockbuster late fees. I remember this lady in front of me had a $1,200 late fee on a movie once from Hollywood Video. Jeez, I don't even know how you go about doing that.
Because at that point, you just say you lost it, and then you pay like $40 or something.
Yeah, you pay the price of the game. You might as well just do that. Let's see. PokeSun TCG. Nice seeing you in here. Attempted Halo one time. Halo was my jam. I played that game. I don't know. They lost it after Halo 4. Halo Infinite was a disappointment for me. I don't know. Halo 3 was the last great one. It's a shame that those days of Bungie running that studio are done. Thanks, Dan, for hitting the like, sending a good vibe and a sub. I appreciate it. Let's see. Brad G cards. French got me. Fake ass mod. Yo, that's great. You're all on thin ice. Dan begging to be a mod. Disgusting. Oh, you guys are killing me. Leaf Green Goblin. Hell yeah. More people doing lives. I'll watch. If Dan becomes a mod, I'm out. Oh, let's see. Oh, this is Dan getting the mod. Let's go. I won't let you down.
He writes in caps.
And then Brad, you've created a monster.
Oh man.
So what are your thoughts on everything going on in Pokemon today, Walrus? What are you thinking? How you feeling about stuff? What plays are you doing that you're willing to share? Yeah, how you feeling about everything?
Feel good, man. It feels like, I don't know, people complain about like pull rates and sets. Like, that's what we want. We want people to keep buying product.
Yeah.
Like, Evolving Skies is depressing.
Yeah, it's super depressing set.
If it wasn't for that Moonbryon, I don't think anybody would be opening Evolving Skies like they are.
Everyone wants the moonshot. I mean, watching Rattle open 3,500 packs to pull it was daunting. So, I mean, obviously that's higher than the mean, but it's just one of those things where,
yeah, I don't know.
I like the pull rates. I like pulling stuff. It's fun pulling stuff out of packs. You know,
I don't like that. I mean, obviously the print quality no one's gonna like, but I don't like the illustration rares aren't textured.
no, yeah, I wish they were textured. They have some terrible roller marks on them too. It's the worst part about a lot of those.
Because even if you look at the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, if that was textured, like that would be such a nice card. But the fact that it's just flat, kind of, I think it detracts from it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's funny that they texture some of the
EX cards though. Like that's just like the regular EXs, like the Fortress they textured. There's the Gyarados
in the latest set they textured.
So it is odd that they're texturing those and not texturing the illustration rares, but I guess they want to keep the SARs like more premium and the full art. It's more premium in the sets, and those are just more like your here you go hits. That makes any sense?
I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with just production. You can speed it up if it's just one layer of print versus adding the texture.
Okay.
But yeah, I kind of like, I just wish like the Magikarp would be textured. Like a lot of like the illustration rares, like the starters, Quaxley, all those, if they were textured, I think it would just, or maybe they're waiting for future sets just to have everything textured and add that more premium feel, which could be it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it takes away from the chase for me.
Okay.
Like, I like the Magikarp, but it just doesn't feel premium. And that, I mean, we're nitpicking, I think, but
yeah. And what? And this is the triplet beat Magikarp, right? The Japanese one.
Oh yeah, you're in Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah. What did it come out in? It was was it Paldea?
Paldea Evolved.
Yeah. I had a few of those at Charlotte. I really, really like that artwork. And you're right, like texture on that. That was like a card that deserved texture. I love that hiding Gyarados in the back right corner. Like that is such a cool little part to it. Yeah, no, I agree. I wish they had more texture. It's a shame they don't. It would make the hits a little cooler. But again, I don't know. Like you said, I guess it's production reasons or whatever reason Pokemon has to do it that way. Let's see. Ponga, ban me, Dan. Dan's going wild, man.
And he's the only mod you have too, so there's no.
This is like making the guy who rips everyone off in fantasy football trades the commissioner. Oh man, Brad G's giving it a chef's kiss. Yeah, Cheat Code Central, man. Cheatcc.com. I spent a lot of time on there. Yep, deep cut. Damn, that's it. Cheat CC. Chef, Dan, everyone. We're all definitely showing our age with that one. But yeah, used to love hopping on GCC. And again, like 20 pages you would print for some of these things just to find stuff. Because you could sit there and scroll through it all. And they would have like the most elaborate little like keystrokes to make the images. And then would print. And it was just like, it's really cool how they set that whole website up. Love going on Cheat CC to spawn in those tanks in GTA. Yeah, man. My cousin had an N64, no memory card, so they left it on for weeks. LOL. The game got lost after like a month. That's rough.
Funny, I'm not the only one, man. Like,
yeah, dude, that's really rough. You can't even, like Zelda, you can't even start over again. Like that's such a hard start. I mean, you can start it over, but that's such a kick in the pants, especially if you've been leaving it on.
and that game you can't skip cutscenes either in like Ocarina of Time.
No,
you have to sit there
and you
through the whole
sit
thing
there
over
and
and
watch
over.
the whole damn thing. That was another banger of a game, Ocarina of Time. I really love that one. That was so
yeah,
cool.
that one's top 10 for sure.
Oh yeah, top 10 for sure. That was another groundbreaker. And my favorite part was just getting the horse at the Lone Ranch. Like I love getting Epona. I love the race together. Like that was my favorite thing. You had like Luigi was there, the guy who looked like Luigi, like the ranch hand. Yeah, like he was there. So that was cool. Cool throwback to there too. Mario and Luigi being in those games.
I remember like when we got the horse in that game, you're like, this is stupid. When the hell am I? Like, I'm not going to travel to this horse. And then you learn the song to spawn the fucking horse.
Yeah, Epona's
like,
song,
oh, okay.
dude. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to be so far away, and it's like they appear out of nowhere. It was great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Or maybe it was Corrupt wouldn't save. I forget if it's saved on cartridge. Yeah, definitely saved. Those games saved on the cartridge. You could add a whole bunch of like those had the rumble packs that you put on the N64 controller and stuff. But my buddy had the gold cartridge for it. I remember they released like the limited edition gold Ocarina of Time games, which was pretty cool. Yeah. Drew, my consoles will be on for days before memory cards.
I can't believe it's that common. I thought I was just like the only broke kid growing up that like their parents didn't think to buy them a memory, because back then they were like $30.
Here we go. Walrus had a camera malfunction, and Pongo was getting all hot and bothered about it.
I forgot the camera's on, so I needed to like see something on my back monitor, so I like got it down, and then Pongo was getting into hot flashes real quick.
We got Nick Old School Pokemon in here. How's it going, Nick? Nice seeing you in here. Reggie, Miss Dan begging to be a mod. He's too pretty low. I can believe it. Dan's power hungry. Oh, this is gold. I agree. Beautiful cards with a lack of no texture. Yeah, it's a bummer. Watch it, Nicholas. This is great. Let's see. Chef. It almost takes away from the vibe. It's like a beautiful card, but kind of half-assed for me. It's the like I love them, but sad at the same time. Yeah, I think that's what Walrus was getting at too. That's how I feel it as well. Excuse me. Let's see. More mod talk. Dan's band hammering hard. I love it. That's what we want in here.
Pretty soon.
Again, thank you. Be sure to like and sub. I appreciate it. Like a beautiful plate with no garnish. They need texture. That's it, chef. If it's texture like that lobster tail from Charlotte, then I'm all in, man. Because that was some good stuff.
That was a good dinner.
That was a great dinner. I had a lot of fun time doing at that dinner for sure. Let's see. We're getting close to the bottom of the chat. Dan's loving the new work schedule. Yeah, man. You'll be on the late night lives getting it done now. Although it probably distracts him a little bit, I'm sure. Oh, man, Walrus. So what else is going on in the collecting world for you? You doing anything else other than video games and Pokemon? I know you're in the Yu-Gi-Oh! You doing any more in that? I know you bought a bunch from Dan. How's that going? Did you buy them graded or are they non-graded?
Yeah, the Dan was just Naruto. But that's just like personal.
Oh, Naruto.
Like, I don't
Sorry, yeah, Naruto.
Yeah, like I don't really sell any. I sell some Yu-Gi-Oh that I like I'll grade it, but Naruto and like Digimon, that's all like pretty much stuff for me that I'm collecting that nobody else wants or will ever pay for.
Okay.
So Pokemon's just where the liquidity is, man. Like you want Pokemon because it sells.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's I would say the most liquid TCG right now. It's pretty apparent. Like I don't have to go out on a limb to say that, but definitely interested in seeing where it goes from here for sure. I don't know.
I want to see what this holiday season does. I want to see how big 151 stays in the hearts and mind. Everyone, I know we got was it Paradigm Rift coming out? It's the next set.
I think everyone's not excited. Like, what's your take on the set? I think the art on some of those cards look dope, and people are so doom and gloom about it.
No, I think the latest arts they showed from that set really excited me for that. Like, I'm big on that. I feel like all those Paradigm Pokemon are going to be very cool in there. I definitely like them. The arts were wild. That one with that, what's it, the Gardevoir, whatever that Paradigm Pokemon is.
The robot, yeah.
Yeah, like with all the armor and stuff on. Like, that's so wild. And they got the Tyranitar in the back that was full of armor. Like, those are some pretty cool looking cards. I'm excited to see
like the little Delibird, like with his little jetpack skiing around. Come on.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. So I mean, it's cool. Like, it's definitely a cool set. It's their gimmick for this one, right? Like, that's the Paradigm Pokemon, and then the hats are like their gimmick this time going around. So like it's nice. Like I definitely think the arts are cool. Definitely looking forward to seeing how that one pans out. I do think 151 is going to hold out a little bit longer though. I mean, it seems like they did a good job staggering the releases of some of that product, keeping it fresh in everyone's mind. I think they just came out like the Zapdos was last week. That Zapdos collection kit set.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing where all that goes.
How are you inventory wise? I know you sold a bunch of your stuff in Charlotte.
I sold a bunch. So this is one stack that I'm getting ready to send out. I want to add a couple more cards. I'm waiting for a few more things. I recently purchased a bunch of Japanese Neo binders.
With the 3 starters and their evolutions?
The 3 starters and their evolutions. So I got a bunch of those I'm sending out. I got a really good deal on them. I think I got them for like 40 a piece. So So I bought 5 of those binders. So I'm sending some of that out. And then I also purchased a bunch of Southern Island stuff, Japanese Southern Island. I really like the artwork. I really think it's like a cool little niche product. Some of the PSA 10s for some of those cards are pretty damn high. I have a Merrill right now that I'm going to send out. I think it's going to 10. It's like a $500 PSA 10. So
in Japanese, not English. I thought it was English that was popping.
Japanese. The Japanese one's pretty high up there, unless I misread something. And now I feel like a jerk.
Because I sold like a Mew, like CGC 7.5 for like $100 and something.
English. The English ones are going crazy. Like you can buy the English binder is $2,000. It's like $2,000, $2,300. The pack of cards themselves, I think, are going on eBay right now for the English binders. They're going for like, oh man, I want to say $800 to $1,100
for the whole binder complete.
No, for just the cards themselves, like just the 18 cello wrapped cards, like the cellophane wrapped cards, were like $800 to $1,100, and then the binders I think you could find on eBay for like $2,000 to $2,300. But that's English. Japanese is much cheaper. Like I was buying these.
They come in a pack of 3, right? With the postcard.
So they come in So that was my original thing. I thought I could probably grade the postcards too, along with some of the cards that came out. I'm sorry, far away from the mic. But the postcards, unfortunately, from sitting in the pack for so long with the 3 cards on top of them, and it also comes with like a little like a 3-card holder, it indented a ton of the postcards, or just left like scuffs on the postcards. So I think out of all the packs I've opened so far, I've only got 1 postcard that I think I can send out to get a 10. But they're still really cool because it's the full artwork for that, whatever set that is. So I'm really digging that. The Mew set, I think it's like it's like Mew, Pidgeot, and Onyx. I mean, the Mew's going for like $900, Japanese PSA 10. Like it's pretty cool.
Are they 10 quality though out of the pack?
Some of them are. Like that one was not. Unfortunately, the Mew was not. A lot of busted up corners. The old blue back Japanese really makes it tough to get a good. The whitening shows so much. But I did get, like I said, I got 2 Slow Kings that I think are going to 10, and the Merrill I think is going to 10. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with some of that stuff. So that's the inventory I'm sending out. I got some like Celebrations, Blastoise, and Venusaurs coming. Send some of them out because the margin's there on them. They're not Charizards, but it's still there.
And it's crazy that Celebrations is holding up so much. Like I actually sent to CGC this last round that I sent because those pristines are going for significantly more than they should, like $50-$60.
Yeah.
For birthday Pikachu, Venusaur, Blastoise, like it's a lot of money.
It's crazy. It's. I mean, I think it's awesome. I mean, the Venusaur is a $4 card. I mean, it's cheaper on TCG Player. I haven't had the best luck with TCG Player. I did get a bunch of rainbow rare cards off of there that were minty. But then a bunch of other stuff I bought from there. Not too long ago, I bought a bunch of amazing rares, and a lot of them are beat to shit, just beat up. Whitening on like all four corners, all around the edges. So I got a bunch of nice ones, but still, like it's just one of those things where, yeah, I don't trust them as much. So I'll pay a little bit more premium on eBay just to be able to see the card.
But you're not gonna go looking through eBay for amazing rares, right? When it's like $1 card.
Oh hell no! And that's why from TCG Player I just bought, on mass. I think I bought like 20 or 30 of each, and just to have them. I like them. I think something's going to happen with them one day. Just yellow border, old school box. You know what I mean? Not full art. I just like the way they look. I like how the art spills out of the box. Like it's just a cool card. Cool cards. So yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them I was accumulating during like the closures and stuff. And then I'm like, oh cool, like PSA is opening up again. I'm going to send some in, and they're worth like $20 in PSA 10.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, I was looking actually yesterday. I think there was a Zamazenta that was $20 PSA 10. Like, so if you want cheap 10s that might boom one day, amazing rares maybe.
Do you think PSA is going to lower the price though?
So funny enough, I was watching your live with Pokeflips. When you guaranteed the PSA going lower than 15, that has not happened. I don't think they're going to go lower than 15 by the end of the year. Why would they? They're 1 million plus cards a year or a month. They're grading, right? I think that's what it is. Like why would they do it to themselves? They already went through that nightmare, that backlog. CGC is dealing with it right now. And you're watching them struggle to get cards back out. And that was their whole thing was, cheaper, get it to you quicker. But now more people are using it. So I don't think PSA has to do anything. I think they're in a good spot. Maybe for New Year or something. I don't know. I don't see them going lower. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but
guarantee episode 1, guarantee something.
Guarantee something. I guarantee that PSA may or may not raise or lower their prices. You heard it here first. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that. It doesn't make any sense. I don't see it making sense for them to drop it unless CGC is really chewing into them that much, but it doesn't seem like they are. I feel like there's enough to go around right now. The cow's still fat. Everyone's still, getting what they can off of it. We'll see. Maybe if stuff starts to dry up, they'll do it. But at this point, like with all the hype around the Van Gogh cards, with all the hype, you can't even say hype. There's no hype, but seeing the Detective Pikachu promos being $35 in Japanese, like it's crazy how a year ago, next month is when the SVP 001 came out. And that was going for 15 people were picking up for $10. And this new promo came out for Detective Pikachu and it's already $35 raw. So and I don't know who's sending those out 35 raw. Like I want to see what the price is going to be for that because I feel like that's going to tank it quick. That $35 price point can't stay for long once PSA 10 start popping out, but who knows? I don't know how you feel about that.
Do you think PSA lowers their pricing, CGC competitive, and you can still make as much money on 10s or no?
Yes.
No chance.
You don't think you still make as much money for the PSA 10s if they lower their price to CGC?
No, at PSA. PSA lowers their pricing to CGC levels.
You don't think that they will hold more value than a CGC?
I don't think they would hold more value than a PSA at 15.
Hold on, I'm confused on the question.
So PSA grading goes down to $9, $10.
Okay.
Do you think you're still getting the same premiums when you paid at 15 now for the same card?
And it's at what CGC is doing currently?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I do. I think short term, absolutely, because people still just value the PSA that much more. Like if I can't see them. And that's another thing. Like if PSA does that, then they're actively like, if that happens, it wouldn't make any sense for them to do that then, because if they did that, then they're losing one of the big reasons why people grade with them is they hold so much more value than the other cards for some of them. So I don't know if they will or not. I'm kind of on the fence about that one. I want to say short term, definitely they'll hold their value. I guess long term, you'd have to see, because you'd have to see I'm more concerned that CGC would then drop their prices lower than that, and then you would see like a race to the bottom with prices for grading. Except Beckett, they'll hold at 18 because that's Beckett. I don't know.
So you don't think if like that price of entry for a 10 is a lot lower, people are, because I think right now a lot of it too is at $15, people are buying those 10s because they want them, but there's a lot of risk to people going out and grading them themselves, right?
Yeah.
You got to hit minimums. You have to have a subscription fee. But now at $10 or $9 PSA, like people are like, oh, I can send 10 cards and try to get that 10.
And you think more people would do that just based off that $5 price change? They would learn the system, go through PSA, wait, learn how to pre-grade correctly, it takes a little bit to learn how to do all that right.
I think entry is a huge hurdle for people.
Okay.
I think that's the reason people don't grade with Beckett. They take all your money up front.
Yeah. CGC does it too.
But when CGC does it, it's at that grading phase and it's not a lot of money.
Yeah, this is true.
So I think if like PSA now removes that barrier and you're sending in, what's the minimum, like 20 cards to send in for bulk?
For PSA?
Yeah.
It's 20 or 25 for bulk. I think it's 20 now for PSA, yeah.
Like they drop it to 10. Now you're sending 20 cards that covers your initial $99 membership fee.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge hurdle for people, I think, is the money aspect to it.
Oh yeah. It gets expensive. You send in 25 cards at PSA is a pretty good hit, especially when you're first starting out. Like a lot of people are still so fresh and new and everything. Like if you're learning to grade first, like it's definitely intimidating to see charges like that. And you haven't gotten the cards back and you're figuring out eBay and all that stuff. Like there's a lot of nuance in it that.
And I say that too, because like what stopped me from grading a lot at the beginning was that grading fee. I have to pay $100 and I have to pay all this money. Instead, I would rather keep collecting than grading because I can use those $300, those $400 and grow my collection.
Yeah.
That way versus having my money tied up.
Tied up in PSA stuff. Yeah. Once you start going down the road where you're throwing like 50, 100, card subs at PSA, you're definitely more, I feel like you're leaning more towards its personal collection until it sells. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's where you are. You have your small PC, but I feel like a lot of it is just, and like, I think you touched on this in a live, like getting cards, seeing cards for, 3 weeks, having it in your hand, like just owning it for like a small amount of time, putting your mark on it. It's just as cool as owning a long-term PC card. But yeah, so I get what you're saying there.
Do you have a PC?
It's very small. Like I said, I did have a lot more PC items before I decided to really start getting into the more flipping stuff. I had some screen promos. I had a bunch of the band art cards that were going and I bought a lot of that shit when it was high, like 2020, when I just got in and I was like, oh, these are cool. Like didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like in 2020, like I was in for maybe 6 months I was in from like Vivid Voltage. And I did like another set and then I was out for like another year and a half, and it came back in again.
Where are you
So
buying
like
Vivid Voltage at?
what was I buying it at? I was buying it at MSRP at my LGS just over the border in Pennsylvania. So I wasn't getting beat up too bad for it. And I didn't know anything that was going on at that time. Like I had no idea about, I mean, I went to Target one day and this dude was running around just dumping everything into his cart. And I was more like a Reddit person than like just reading Reddit. And everyone was so sour about the Reddit was the most sour spot for the Pokemon space, I feel like, in that time. Everyone was just pissed off about scalpers. But I opened a ton of Vivid Voltage, I think 3 booster boxes, tons of ETBs. I pulled a gold chunk chew, like that was cool. Couldn't grade it. It was off center as fuck. And then I had
the secret rare.
Yeah, the gold one. It was awesome. Like it was just cool pulling it. Like it was cool. And I also pulled from Champions Path the gold Charizard too from a Marnie collection.
I got back into it like modern, trying to chase like one of those Charizards. Could never fucking pull it.
Dude, I bought two of the Marnie collection boxes, and it was in one of them. It was awesome. Felt pretty good about it. Yeah. And that one I sent out, I think I sent it to CGC, I think, and I graded a 9.5, of course.
Oh, back then.
Back then, yeah. So
probably pristine now.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a pretty card. But yeah, so that's when I got back. Vivid Voltage was cool. Like, and that set will hold like a little spot in my heart for a while because just I ripped a lot of it. I was new. Like, I didn't know I get special delivery Pikachu sent to me from Pokemon Center. I sold them for $50. Kicked myself for that. Still, like, just didn't know. Like, didn't know. So just wasn't on eBay off like much. Didn't know about 130 point. Didn't know about any of these things. I couldn't grade those Pikachus. They had print lines and stuff, and I'm like, I knew that much, but it was just learning all that stuff.
It's always fascinating the people that came in during the boom, and just your process.
My process was terrible. It was like a bull in a china shop. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Because like at least some of us that were here before, we had a runway where we were just collecting shit because we're nerds, and then it just appreciated massively.
Yeah.
But like you came in with nothing at like a time when MSRP was non-existent.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't really I didn't delve too deep into it. Like I wasn't listening to podcasts. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just whatever was on Reddit at the time was where I kind of was with all of that. And then in 2022, last year around this time, it was last year in October. I stumbled on Mertz's video about Collecticon. I started watching Dan. Started watching all of his old videos with Nick when he first started. So it was just cool, like hearing their journey, going through everything, and like looking at. So I remember like looking at MetaZoo cards and stuff, and people warning me, like, because then I got into the Discord, and people were like, "Don't buy MetaZoo." It was just like it was so funny. Like I think I got the box here. It was a seance box. I got an auction for like $36. So I thought, wow, this is great because all the other ones were going for like whatever their map was at the time. So I felt pretty good about that. I don't know. I like to open some Harry Potter up. I was open some Dragon Ball up. I was just trying to get a feel of everything then, trying to figure it all out really.
So you just discovered like the Discord and like the Pokenomics, all that stuff back in October? Last
October, yeah. Yep.
So less than a year? Jesus.
Less than a year. Yeah. I think it was like October. It was like the last week in October. I started getting, like I said, I was on with PK. I bought my buddy a graded coin for one of his collections. And it just got me back into like wanting to look at graded cards again. And I started doing that. And then I started looking online and then YouTube. And then, like I said, like Mertz and Dan and Nick and everyone, PK, and then I just really started diving into it. Like that's been kind of what I've been listening to for a year now. Like not so much TV. I do book on tape still, but it's mostly podcasts. Like that's the content I consume. So that's where I get most of my, learning from in this hobby and all that. So I'm just trying to figure it out one day at a time. But yeah, a year ago now, I didn't know any of this shit. So it's crazy what I know now that I didn't know a year ago. And I can't wait to see where I'm going to be a year from now. Like having this foundation to build off of. Like I feel it's going to be a much better year next year. Like I have a few things that I got to take care of to make it like I don't even say like a business. It's like I feel like it's a hobby for me more than anything. I like flipping. It's fun. I have a full-time job, a wife, kid. Like it's hard to make it like an actual business thing. But I feel like I want to like start gearing up and like pushing that a little bit more.
Because I mean, you had really good inventory in Charlotte for only doing it since October. Seriously, to that level, that's really impressive.
No, thanks, Walrus. Yeah, I mean,
like
some of those cards, I just like. It's the cards I like. Like I loved all those character rares from those sets, like the Snorlax, the Gengars. I had some inaugural Pikachus. You know, a lot
they
of
were all tens too. Like
and like I probably take more time than I should grading, pre-grading, but I really don't like not hitting the tens. I hate it. It's you throw $15 out the window. I feel like it's what you're doing, and you just have like
and that shit piles up quickly.
Yeah, like so. I had a bunch of these. Show you
the 10 promos.
But no, it's a Japanese one. So it was from V-Star, and this was like crappy 8.5. So this is my coaster right now. But like those and the pristine label, like I had a ton of those. I had some the Sleepy Mews in Japanese and 10s with the pristine labels. Like I had a bunch of that stuff. Like I had a good time like grading and like getting that stuff. And like those were my first real big like single buy graded plays. Like a lot of the old stuff was just all like old binder things I had. Like this past summer is when I really got into like sourcing cards more and like sending them out for grading to them. Because I graded like, I know I brought 140 cards with me to Charlotte. So I did a lot of grading. I got a lot of subs back that came back right before I left. So I just brought everything with me. Just like,
and you went home with 0 cards, right?
I went 0 cards. The only cards I went home with were my Harry Potter cards. And some Dragon Ball Z that I had. I opened up one booster box of Dragon Ball Z and sent some cool looking cards in. Sold a few, paid for my booster box, so I feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like that was it. Like the booster box wasn't expensive. I think I got 2 booster boxes for $65. I made my money back.
So I remember going to your booth on Sunday.
Yeah, you came over.
Like, holy shit, you have so much good shit.
Yeah, man.
Like, oh yeah, sales are slow, and I'm like, just wait, you're gonna get a buyout soon.
Yeah, the sales were
like,
slow.
An hour later, I sold everything.
Yep, it was all gone. I sold everything. I had a booster box sold. Some Crown Zenith ETB, Pokemon Center 1 sold. Another ETB sold. Yeah, they wiped me out. They came and wiped me out. But yeah, it was a great experience. It was cool being, you know, it's cool seeing what I'm going to say hard work. Like it's hard work. It was cool seeing like what I put myself into, like coming to fruition and like being there and like selling everything. It was a good experience for sure.
I mean, even if you hadn't sold anything, like I think like it's still worth going.
Yeah, I think next time I want to just not vend. I want to walk around a little bit more, see a little bit more stuff. I also want to be less hungover for the first day. I polluted myself at the public house in the worst way possible. It was beer o'clock for sure when I walked in there.
That was a good night.
That was a great night. I woke up the next morning. I don't know how I made it to that convention center. I felt so sick. I was so sick all day long, man.
I actually stepped out. I had to go to Walgreens and get some aspirin because you were there when we started doing shots, right?
I think I left when you started doing shots because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do the shots. I staggered back, whatever it was, the 1.5 miles back to the place. Then I was just woke up 6 hours later with just a splitting headache, tasting like alcohol. I just felt terrible. I felt terrible. I sweated for like 8 hours straight in that freaking convention center.
Yeah, it was one of the funnest nights I've had. I mean, I've only been to 2, but that night was really cool. Just hanging out with everybody, taking drinks, taking shots. We had the whole restaurant essentially to ourselves.
Yeah, it was awesome.
In that one little corner.
What's up, Grimer? Nice seeing you here. Thoughts on the Pokemon pin market? That's a question for Dan now. I heard he's selling a lot of pins.
What a gross man.
Bullish on pins. Hold on, here we go. Bullish on pins. Oh, we got Peek That Shoe in here. What's going on, Peek That Shoe? How are you doing, man? Thanks for coming in. Sent my first sub to CGC at the end of September when it was said 20-day turnaround. Logged in last week and saw they moved it to 45 days. Yeah, man. The day after I sent it, it went up. And I was just like, well, nothing you can do now. So they have them until they send them back to me now. We'll see what happens.
With that, it just seems like they're over-delivering now. Like they're promising 45 days, but they're getting it shorter. So they're like just delivering better turnaround times, which is a lot better thing to do than PSA saying whatever length and then holding your cards for 3 years.
Yeah. Grammar collects rainbows to the moon. Dude, I love the rainbow cards. I know not a lot of people do. I do like them. How do you feel about the rainbows, Walrus?
I really do like them. I mean, on the full art trainers, though, the trainers do look nice. I think the rainbows where they pop were for like Sun and Moon, where the full art Pokemon were just like CG,
Yeah,
terrible background, just a plain blue. Like just they look stupid, and I think that's the rainbows that are going to do well.
okay, right on.
Yeah, I think the full art trainer rainbows, I think, stand out the best. I know some of them get a little like it's just, I guess, depending on how you hold the card, they can look very muted sometimes too, or you can't see anything but rainbow. It's just like rainbow in your face. So I wish they muted that down a little bit so you can actually see the character in the card. So I think the first rainbow I pulled was a Dreadnought from Vivid Voltage. Was it Vivid Voltage?
That
was Champion's Path.
Champion's Path.
So that was the first gold card I pulled. Gold full art. I think I got a 9 on that one, unfortunately. But it was definitely off-centered. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But that was my biggest thing about that one is like sometimes it's like you have to like manipulate the cards so much to see like the actual artwork instead of just shiny gold in your eyes. But I do think that later on they are going to have a premium, especially with a lot of people that are getting in now. Like before the full art, the full art all arts came out. Like those were still the big thing. I know people didn't like them, but they were definitely the bigger thing. For me, at least. I like them over regular full arts. I still like the rainbow over the regular full art variant.
On Pokemon, yeah, I agree. On trainers, I like the colorfulness. I like the cartoon, the character vibe to them.
I hear you. Nick hacked Dan's account confirmed. I sold 250 pins yesterday for $1.75 each.
It's great. We're manipulating markets. I love it. Let's see. The Mewtwo UPC promos for $6 each. Yeah, they're low. I think they were like $4 on TCG Player the other day too. It's crazy how low they went. I really don't like Pokemon putting those cards as promos and those UPCs like that. I think it definitely hurts them. I didn't like what they did.
Does it hurt condition or value?
Both. I mean, the promos traditionally in any of those tin cases or the UPCs, like I really hate what they did with that Moltres and the legendary birds for Crown Zenith, sticking them in the tin cases. Like I think that was a crime. That Moltres art, I think that's my favorite art in that entire set. And the fact that it came, yeah, dude, I love that Moltres art. I love it.
What?
I don't know.
The Mewtwo V-Star fighting the Charizard isn't Crown Zenith, man.
No, I'm talking about the Moltres.
Yeah, but you're saying that's your favorite art in Crown Zenith?
In Crown Zenith? Yeah. Well, V-Star Universe, like that's my favorite one. I just love the way it looks. I love how that bird's over Mount Fuji like that. It's just a cool art. Like I like that art style too. The Charizard artworks are always Charizard, but I'm not the biggest Charizard guy, so I really don't. Like I got burnt by those Charizard UPCs last year pretty hard when I first got in.
On what, the promos?
Oh my god, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I bought three UPCs, opened them up. Everyone was dog shit, and I was like, "Oh, there goes all my money right now for this." So like, we're clawing back stuff, selling more singles and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know, something about that art that really does it for me in that set.
I don't know. I like promos like that. They just make that quantity accessible. You can go on TCG Player, you can go anywhere and just buy a couple.
Oh yeah, you could just
10s,
buy them
20s,
definitely.
30s.
Yeah, 100%. If Dan's pumping pins, does that mean the end of the hobby is near? Let's see. Making money and leaving room for the next guy to make money is good biz. It sure is, Dan. Leave some for us, please. Let's see what we got here. Anything else? Someone scam me on 5K coins, please. Let's see what else we got here. I think that's down. Chefs are immune to hangovers. Yeah, well, I thought ironworkers were immune to hangovers too, and that's a lie. as I get older,
that's beer, man. You got to drink
triple
some hard
IPAs,
liquor.
man. The triple IPAs killed me. Love the Rainbow Gyarados and Evolving Skies. Not sure why specifically, but that one and some of the Pokemon Go ones were good too for me. Yeah, it's a nice looking card, Chef. Yeah, and lately some of the best arts are being sent as promos, and I hate it. Yeah, like that the Mew full art, where it's just like floating through the city. Like that really sucks that ended up being a promo. I don't know. Definitely hurts
I like
the value.
that it's cheaper though. Like I don't want it to be $60 like the rest of the.
Oh no, and you don't.
Chases.
But oh yeah, for sure. But that and I'm looking at that from like just grading standpoint. Like would like to grade it for not $60. Or like not buy it for 60 and then grade it and hope to get. But again, the quality isn't the best on the promos coming out of those things. I like what they did where they didn't just throw the promos in cellophane and like with all the packs, so they got all fucked up. But it was nice that they put them in those little like 3 things.
You don't think that messed them up even more? Because that's humans like sliding them in there as quickly as possible.
I didn't think about that, Walrus. Being honest with you, I definitely didn't think about that part.
I mean, I don't want it to be like Pokemon Center just throwing shit in a box, but it has to be like humans just packing it in at a
slamming it in. Yeah, no, you're right. You're just slamming it in, making nothing. Hey, cheers from Germany. Oh, very good, man. Thanks for coming in. Well, I'm at the bottom of chat, everyone. We got anything else, Walrus? Any last words you want to say? Anything you got to get off your chest?
No, thank you for having me. It was a awesome time. Hopefully you continue doing this.
Hey, thanks, Walrus. I appreciate it, man. This was definitely fun. I definitely had a good time doing this. I'm trying to do this once every 2 weeks. Not necessarily with a guest, maybe just me coming on and talking about something here and there. Again, it doesn't have to be Pokemon, it could be video games, anything. But yeah, just want to put a little more content out there for people. And just have a good time talking about Pokemon and stuff, man. Really awesome. Oh my God, glad I was here for episode 1. Looking forward to watching 100 episodes. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me, especially coming from you. And the content you pump out. I want to just say thank you, Walrus, for coming on. I really appreciate you spending your time with me on a Saturday night. This is great. Definitely would have been lost without you. You definitely helped me guide this conversation a little bit. So I do appreciate your time and thank you for being
having,
just,
as soon as you hobby, me, dude.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thanks again, Chef. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. All right, guys. It was nice talking to everyone, and we'll see you soon. Have a good night.
Peace out.